You know, it's kind of like trying to capture lightning in a bottle where, you know, you do enough of them, something's gonna hit somewhere, and that's what I'm waiting for. My name is Joe Mckendry. I am an author, illustrator, painter, and a faculty member at Rhode Island School of Design. I sort of divide my time between illustration, fine art, and teaching. I think each of those kind of allows me to use a different muscle. In my fine art, I really don't have narrative. It's more about visual effects and just sort of a feeling. But with illustration, there's much, much more narrative. I was just trying to figure out anything that I could make a buck with my art. Eventually decided that illustration was something I wanted to try, and I started sending work out to magazines. I think I got Esquire magazine and Oprah in the same month. And then once my drawings were in Esquire, everything started rolling. So the people that were involved in the abstract project used to work at Wired magazine. Scott Dadich was the editor-in-chief. Ali Fisher is the creative director there. And I had worked for Wired magazine for years. They knew my work. Scott Dadich started a creative company with a partner, and it's Godfrey Dadich. They wanted a particular style. They wanted the poster to look like a combination between measured mechanical drawings and the scribblings of like a mad designer. My father-in-law was an engineer, so I took some of his old compasses and I was using as many old materials as I could find to make it feel like an old sort of engineering kind of thing. That is sort of a pocket of work that I really enjoy, you know, this sort of mechanical stuff. Like I just did a job for Rhode magazine on a skyscraper in Miami that has an elevator for your car that you can take up to your apartment on the 20th floor and drive it out and have this space. I had to look through the architectural plans of that building that wasn't constructed yet. That's using a very, very different part of my brain. It feels good to sort of exercise that part of my brain and create these illustrations that will explain to somebody how this elevator works. How do you get your car in there? How do you get it in? How do you get it out? You know, there's a rotating platform that the car goes on and like turns, and so, you know, I had to first figure out how the thing worked, and then I had to show other people how it worked. There was a period of about 3 or 4 years where I was illustrating articles for The Atlantic every month. And that part of my work, the illustration work, I am thinking about what's going to evoke the writing. So that's really about narrative. It's about like, how do you winnow down to the essentials and what do you show and what colors are you going to use to evoke a certain feeling. There's a book called The Little House by Virginia Lee Burton, and it's a story of a house that starts out in the middle of the country. The way the book progresses is you flip the page and you see the house on that same spot on the hill, but a street is built in front of the house. And as you keep going, the house stays the same and everything grows up around it and cramps it. So when it started, it was the biggest presence, and then it becomes the smallest. That was my inspiration for the book One Times Square. As you flip the page, One Times Square is in the exact same spot, just like it is with the little house. Go into Times Square now and it's like the busiest place, lights flashing. But at one time it was farmland. That area was called Long Acre Square. The New York Times decided to build their headquarters there, and once the New York Times moved in and built that building where the ball drops, it became Times Square. That building was the second tallest building in the world when it went up. That building is now dwarfed by everything. It was pretty satisfying to make. Time consuming, but satisfying. You know, I've done a few things with National Geographic through the years. So they said, hey, we're working on this article about right whales. We want to show a whale getting trapped and caught in a lobster trap and show that process. Are you interested? And of course, yes. Anything to work for National Geographic. They want to do the research, they want to get it right. I like working for somebody that cares that deeply about material and getting it right. And with National Geographic, that's all they're about. There are other schools that focus on do this and this and this, and you're going to be prepared for getting a job as soon as you graduate. The approach at RISD that I grew up with, you know, I'm just trying to carry that on as a faculty member, is that following what you're really passionate about will lead you to what you're going to do best. We as a faculty sort of pride ourselves on really asking questions of those students. What is it that you're interested in? What is it that really drives you? Seeing people sort of take leaps of faith and grow. I think a lot of students that I get most frustrated with are the ones that have a ton of talent, but they keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. They're extremely talented, but they're not going to grow. I try to have students do exercises where they make pieces that are almost designed to be bad. You lower the bar. We start out by doing experimentation pages. We're not worried about it. We're not worried about what we're going to make. However many marks you can make, a variety of marks you can make, just to see what the material does first. and then, hey, maybe you can use that in whatever you're doing. I want to pass all my tricks on to my students. I don't want to share them with 100% of the world, but like my students, I want them to know what you can do with watercolor. And I want them to be going out into the world with these things that they learned from me that might have taken them a lot of experimentation to fall into. The way I teach it and the way I'm trying to paint a little bit more now is like letting the medium do its thing. Why be super tight with watercolor when you can do it in acrylic? Let the watercolor bleed. I've got all these other new materials that I bought that I'm trying stuff with. I'm using house painting brushes, I'm painting big. I'm trying, see what the medium can do, and that's just for me. I'm hoping I can sell some of these things at some point, but right now I need to just take days to just paint and dig and see what I can get. Hopefully I can advance myself as a painter.